5 classic Mercedes that you might consider avoiding. Sometimes people will call me and say, I'm looking at this Mercedes or that Mercedes, and that's great. I actually love that. But there are some circumstances under which I advise them to possibly look for better cars unless they feel that there's some sort of personal mission that they have to take on. And so I'm going to give you 5 Mercedes that you should probably pass on. The first one is the 1975 450 SL, SLC, SE, or SEL. Now, why is this? Well, those cars all had the magical combination of D-Jetronic fuel injection and a giant thermal reactor hung onto the side of the cylinder head. And from what we know now, D-Jetronic does not like heat, especially when there's so much of it concentrated so close to the engine. These cars suffered from fires, wiring harness failures, hot starting issues, and numerous other heat-related issues because the materials at the time were just simply not up to the sheer amount of heat that the cars produced. Now, in 1976, when Mercedes began installing K-Jetronic injection, the K-Jetronic injection coped much better because there were no rubber fuel hoses hung so close to the engine, and there were no wiring harnesses to go bad. So if you're looking at a 75, I advise looking at some other cars. Now, you can make a 75 good by backdating the exhaust system to the 74 model, or by hollowing out the thermal reactors, which I'm not supposed to do, but my advice is that there are better cars that will be easier to sort out than a 75 450 anything. The next car that I strongly suggest thinking twice about is the 1981 380 SL. I don't necessarily extend this to the 380 SLC, but the 81 380 SL US version is one of the toughest cars to tame, especially if it's a low mileage, extremely low mileage car with a single row timing chain. Now, why is this? Well, in 1981, the 380 SL suffered from not only the factory single row chain, but it was the last 107 to include automatic climate control too, which used the climate control servo. This system, with its giant network of vacuum lines, its automatic climate control servo, and the insane amount of work you have to do to usually get these cars to function properly, especially if they've been sitting for a long time, like most 81 380 SLs have, might present you with another choice, might make you want to think about another choice, because you could get an 84, 85 380 SL for about the same money, or maybe a little bit more money, which has a better climate control system. The 82 and 83 are the same, but don't buy one of these cars unless the timing chain has been converted, even if you're dealing with a 20,000 mile perfect show car. Now, a third car that I would say to avoid is actually a category of cars. It's the 1990 through 2002 R129. I'm not talking about all our R129s, though. I'm just talking about cars that have been poorly maintained and driven into the ground. So I would suggest that nobody even give a second look at beat up, neglected, tired R129 cars. They have too many problems with parts supplies, parts cost, shoddy wiring harnesses, and other issues that would really drive somebody crazy. It's better just to buy a really nice one and go from there. Now, a fourth car that I suggest avoiding would be the 1993 to 95 E320 Cabriolet. Why is this? Well, people love the E320 Cabriolet, but if you look at all the problems the cars had, engine wiring harnesses, throttle actuator harnesses, power top cylinder leakage, broken header bar plastic parts that can't be sourced from Mercedes, power top problems that can't be rectified with the simple replacement of a control unit because none of them are available anymore, evaporator problems, reverse gear problems, problems with the transmissions, dumping insane amounts of graphite into the valve body. You get my drift. There are just too many things on the cars that go wrong. Now, sometimes you can get a really nice E320 convertible where somebody has laid out the big bucks to fix all of this stuff. And that's probably okay. But for the average 320 convertible, if you want a Mercedes where the top goes down, you should probably just get an R107 because the E320 is just becoming such a complicated car to keep track of due to its poor quality plastics. Now, the number 5 car that I would tell absolutely everybody to avoid and stay away from and not even look twice about is, drum roll, any neglected W140. I know there are some people on this page that love the W140 and think the 140 is the best car ever made. But trying to sort out a beat up, dead, poorly maintained W140, particularly an early one like a 92 or 93, is a task that is best suited for somebody who has endless amounts of time on their hands, excellent mechanical ability, and gets pleasure out of sorting electrical problems that seemingly have no end. Now, if I were looking for a 140, again, I'd get the nicest example I could, or at least an example where I knew that certain wiring harnesses and other parts had been replaced because, you know, they're starting to dry up as well. And if I were also looking at 140s, I'd try to get a later car, you know, not a first year of production car, unless your name is Jeremy Morrissey, where you just can't keep your hands off of the first year production 140s that were fraught with problems that only the most patient of human beings seem to be able to deal with. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video or disagreed with it, then please drop me a line. And again, these cars are still repairable, serviceable cars. It's just that better alternatives do exist. I'd be a fool for saying that they, you know, that they're a great way to get your feet wet with classic Mercedes. And notice there were no diesels on the list. I know some of you were expecting me to say the 350 SD and SDL, but in this day and age, today, those cars have actually been really good cars, and all my customers who have them really like them. So, in the meantime, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed watching this video, give it a thumbs up or a like. And click the bell for notifications. And if you're supporting us on Patreon, thank you so much. Stay tuned for our next video every Tuesday and Saturday.